The Democratic Chairman of Westchester County Board of Elections, as well as head of Mount Vernon's Democratic Party. A word we used often over the summer was just unprecedented. What we were seeing, we had never seen before.
Well, it was. I mean, I don't think you've ever seen where city council tried to take over the mayoralty. It was almost like a coup, and you couldn't talk them out of it. Right. But it's obvious that the legislative branch of government cannot do that. If they could, because all legislative branch of government is just that, the legislative branch of government, right, then they would be taking out the president by just confiscating the office. And that's what they did, and I found that to be very bad as elected official, to mislead the city and embarrass the city by doing that.
So Mount Vernon made headlines not just in this county, but just around the state.
It was all over the state, and from what I heard from other folks, it was outside the state too, because it was something really ridiculous. That, you know, we were known as a city with two mayors. It was a laughingstock.
And as somebody who has been involved in Mount Vernon politics for decades, how did that sit with you?
Didn't sit well. That's why I tried to tell them, don't do this.
Right.
Don't embarrass the city, and don't embarrass yourself. It didn't sit well, but there was no talking them out of it.
Is it your sense from the public that they were just exhausted by what they saw over the summer?
I think the public were. I think they were. The voters of Mount Vernon, the citizens of Mount Vernon, they were tired of this grandstanding,
right,
of this accusation back and forth. They were tired of reading where someone, where the Corporation Council got indicted for taking $365,000 out of the water department to pay legal fees,
right, for
then sitting mayor, Richie Thomas. You know, people didn't want to hear that as they're driving down the streets of Mount Vernon, and the streets need to be paved.
Right.
You know, that was just basic. So they're tired of it and need a break.
And what are the lessons, not just from the council, but just from everything that you saw over this summer? Are there any lessons to be learned from this experience?
The lessons to be learned is read the charter. Read section 33. Read the charter. It says you can only reorganize once, right, and that's at the statutory meeting. So, you know, that's the lesson to be learned. And when those who've been there before you, I was city clerk for 15 years, right, tell you something, kind of listen.
What damage did that experience of the summer, I mean all of it in total, do to the city?
It damaged the reputation of that elected body, which then played off into the Democratic Party because they were all Democrats.
Right.
So that's what damage it did. Now, a lot of people may not like me saying this, but in order to keep something bad from happening again, you have to speak on how bad it was.
With